See, the other day you asked about how do we import bulk data into ServiceNow, right?
Yes.
And yes, we have some way by using which you can import your data into your instance, right? So we'll see how we can do that. So for that, I'm going to find out. There are actually several ways of importing it. Several types of data import is done. So the one that we are going to discuss right now is import set, right? So as the name suggests, it is a mechanism to import data into your ServiceNow instance, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how do you import data from your ServiceNow instance, and what type of third-party systems or what type of imports you can handle? So that's something that we'll be talking about right now. So for that,
Mhm.
I'll go to refer one diagram which is on ServiceNow wiki, and I like to show that to you.
Mhm.
So I'll open wiki. Then I'll type in import sets, and I'll hit this link and see. This is a description of what an import set can do for you, right?
Mhm.
So here is a simple diagram. So import set is a process by
Mhm.
using which you can get external data within your ServiceNow tables, right?
Mhm.
And the external data
Right.
can come from JDBC, which is Java Database Connectivity, HTTP
Mhm.
or FTP, Excel source, CSV source, or XML source. So this
Wow. Okay.
import set has a wide variety of external sources support, and using that you can import data using all these external sources into your ServiceNow tables, right? But before that, there are a couple of steps that you need to follow. First of all, you have to identify what external data source you are dealing with, right? You will pick any of these five.
Mhm.
Second of all, you will define the import set tables. See, the ultimate tables are these tables in the target tables region, right? CMDB, user,
Mhm.
incident groups, and location. These are the ultimate tables.
Mhm.
But in order that the ultimate table can be populated, what you have to do is from the external data source, you have to bring data into one staging table, which is known as import set table here,
Yeah.
right? So you get data from the external data source in some sort of a staging table known as import set table, right? And
Mhm.
there you apply some transformation, data transformation before moving it to the target tables, right? Now this import set table is I am calling it as a staging table. Yes, because
Mhm.
this is a temporary table that you will be using. After you are done
Mhm.
with inserting data into the target tables, you can get rid of this table. You can delete these tables and these will not be required, right? If it is
Okay.
not a recurring activity that you are doing, you do not need that import set table anymore after you have done
Mhm.
inserting data into the tables, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So this is the typical setup of a import set, right? On one hand, you have external data sources. On the other hand, you have target tables, right? You have
Mhm.
to bring
Yeah.
data from the external data source into target table. But before you do that, you have to deal with the import set tables, which are the staging tables or temporary tables, and the another thing is the transformation, data transformation, which is transform map.
Mhm.
This layer is known as transform map, mapping your transformation, data transformation. So that's transform map. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see
Yeah.
how we can import. We'll try with, hang on. Yeah, we will try doing this. Let me find out. Okay. So let's try to import this data that we have here, right, into
Okay.
our ServiceNow table. I'll do it for you in
Right.
your instance, right? So
Okay.
I'll use your instance to do this. So I hit import set here. When I do import
Mm.
set, I get several options here, starting with load data, create transform map, run transformation, and then within administration you have data sources, transform maps, and scheduled imports, etc. Right?
Mm.
So today we are doing Excel import. So we'll be using this load data feature here. So I'll go into load data module,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I go in here, this interface opens up, and you have to identify the import set table. And remember, the import set table is the staging table, right?
Yeah.
So you have to identify what staging table you want to put your information into, right? I'm going to put the name of the table as, oh, first of all, I am into the marketing event application scope, so I'll go to global scope,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll do service offerings. The reason I'm doing service offerings is because within this Excel sheet, I have a list of all the service offerings that I
Mm.
have. Now, when we import this table, when we import this Excel sheet, right, we will identify that this is the header row,
Yeah, that's a header
right?
first there. Yeah.
So the header row becomes the column fields,
Mm.
right? And let's get rid of this data. We don't need this, right? So this is the header row will become columns in the table, and then rest of the rows will be the data, right?
Mm.
Data into the table. So let's do
Mm.
that. So this is a service offerings table which I am going to create as import set table, right? And
Mm.
we have to do source of import is a file here because we are doing Excel import. So we'll go back and pick the file up. Then two things here, you are on sheet 2, right? So you have to remember
Mm.
what sheet you want to import, right? So right now I have
Mm.
to identify sheet 2 is the sheet that I want to import data from, and the header row is the first row of the Excel sheet. You get
Mm.
it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So this is the first row of the Excel sheet, and now I am going to submit it.
Mm.
Did submit, it says 12 processed, 11 inserted, right? Update 0, ignore 0, empty, and ignored 1. See, I have 12 records. Out of the 12 records, we have the first record as the header row.
It's a
So,
header. Yeah.
we have 11 records that were processed. So, right, it rightly says that 11 were inserted, right? Now, when you are able to insert all this data into the staging table, you get these four links, right? Import
Mm.
sets, import sets, loaded data, create transform map, and import log, right?
Mm.
So you can check the loaded data by clicking the loaded data link. When you hit this link, you get this list of 11 records that you have inserted here. You can personalize this list to see what are the columns that you have inserted. So if you remember, we have service offerings, devices. So you will have it. See, I'll get rid of all
Mm.
these columns from here. I have service offerings, I have devices, I have reference projects, I have
Technology.
technology, not tax, I have technology, tools and testing tools.
Mm.
See, when I save it, I get the same data here.
Mm.
You see that?
Yeah.
So that data has been very simply imported into ServiceNow using the Excel file and the import set, right? But right now,
Mm.
this is in the staging table. This is the staging table that we defined, right?
Yeah.
So, and you want that you insert this data into some target table, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to do transform map. So in order to do transform map, you have to do create transformation map. So you can either open this transform map from that link, or you can go into transform map directly into this navigation pane and click it to open this transform map. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you open this. So on one side you see the information about the source tables. Here service offerings, which is the import set table that we have. This becomes the source table for the transform map, and the target table
Mm-hmm.
will be the table that you select into the right side here. So this will be the target table, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that you have inserted data into the service offerings table, which is a staging table, you also identify
Yeah.
the target table here, right? And then you push data from the staging table into the target table here. So that's what you do, right? Right
Mm-hmm.
now we do not have a target table identified for this, so let's go and find out our target table for this one. I'm going to create a table for this. So I'll go tables and columns, and I'll create a table. I'll name it as services, and no
Mm-hmm.
extension, no module, and I'll create some table columns. And to do that, I'll refer this. I'll name it as service offering, type is string. Next one is device string. Next one is project, again string.
Mm-hmm.
Technology, framework tools, and I'm going to submit it. So now
Okay.
you have a table ready, which is known as u underscore services, right? And this
Yeah.
should become your target table, right? U underscore services doesn't have a record right now, right? We just created the table. We have the columns created, but we do not have the records into it, right? Records we have to
Mm-hmm.
pull from the staging table, the service, the import set table, the record that we have there, we have to pull it from there. So I'm going to reload this table so that the table that we just created appears in the target table area.
Mm-hmm.
So by doing this, reloading, it will reload the list of tables in this area. I'll have to go into import sets, transform map. We will have to create the transform map here. So I'll name
Mm-hmm.
it service offering transformation. Alright, and then from the
Yeah.
source table I'll pick use service
Lower.
offering, right? Active run business rule, we don't need it. Created is today, and target table is service. I'll name it u underscore services. This is the target
Mm-hmm.
table, right? And copy empty fields. I'll leave it and I'll submit it. So this way, we just created a transformation map, right? But we did not create a mapping. So it's just a name that we have done. We have not created a mapping between the tables, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
to map the fields in this import set table and in the target tables, you have to create a mapping assist. You have to use the mapping assist,
Mm-hmm.
or you can use auto map matching fields as well, right?
Mm.
When you do auto map matching fields, ServiceNow will pick the best fields and try to match it to the fields on the target table, right?
Mm. Mm. Mm.
And it uses the field labels to do the matching, right? So we are
Mm.
not going to use this field maps. I'm going to create the field mapping on my own, right?
Mm.
I'll get rid of these two field mappings that was created already,
Mm.
and then I'll go to I'll do mapping assist.
Mm.
When I do mapping assist, I get a interface that lists all the columns from the staging table and all the columns from the target table. So
Target table.
you have the list populated here. So let's let's bring them here. So I'll bring device, I'll bring framework, project, technology, testing tool, and tool.
Tools.
Right. So all columns from the target table has come here. Now I have to bring columns from this area here. So device
Yeah.
is mapped to device.
Framework.
Devices is mapped to device.
Device. Yeah.
Framework is mapped to framework.
Yeah.
Isn't it simple?
It is. I'm just because I use SSIS, right? We
Right.
do the same thing,
Right.
field mapping.
Right.
But this one is more easier.
Yep. Technology is mapped to technology. Tools is mapped
Yeah.
to tool, and testing tools is mapped to. Here we go. Right.
Yeah.
So you
But
have
I have one quick question here, Rob.
sure.
For example, on the when we do SSIs,
Uh huh.
we are using like data type. For example, Excel, right? In Excel, the data type is Unicode, right?
Uh huh.
Whereas when you come to the SQL, it is non-Unicode, right? So we have to match this Unicode, non-Unicode data type, the size of the data type itself. For example, varchar 100, and
Right.
the source it might be varchar 500.
Right.
So all those kind of things. How is this here in the service now?
See,
Is there anything
when
like
you
that?
created the table, you defined the data type of it, right? The devices were a
Right.
string, framework was a string,
Yes.
project was a
Yeah.
string. So I think that's the place where you define what type of column you were creating, what type of field you're creating, right?
Yeah, you do that. But for example, the business will send you Excel sheet, right?
Right.
For a million row or 500,000 rows of data every
Right.
month, every day, or something like that.
Right.
I already defined my table in ServiceNow with varchar 100, right?
Right.
For example, in one of the column, there might be varchar 500.
Mm-hmm.
So either the value will be truncated or the package will fail when we talk about in terms of SSIS.
Mm-hmm.
In here, you're right, yes. For example, I define string or integer or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But how is the size? That's not an issue here on ServiceNow? Those the one that I mentioned to you?
No, you put the size limitation as well. I'll sh- I'll show you. Yeah, it obviously it will truncate if you have larger fields, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
see, this is services, u underscore services. This is the table we just created.
Right.
If we edit this table, see, you have the max length
This is
here.
the data type.
Yeah, you have the data type here and you have the max length.
Yes, yes, that's what I'm talking about.
You
For
have the,
example, if I have 400, right?
right,
The string
right,
my source there is
right,
400. Of course, that will be truncated.
right. Obviously that will be done.
Yeah. So to avoid that, what we do in SSIS, there is one component called data conversion.
Mm-hmm,
When I run the package, it sends me the error message.
mm-hmm.
this column, it contains this much this size of data, so it will be truncated. Make sure your source matches to that, and then I will go to the source and then I do the data conversion.
Yeah, you will get all those information here as well.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see. So we are done with mapping assist. Let's save it.
Yeah. Right.
So we saved it. So mapping is correct, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can put some script here in the transformation script, and this script
Mm-hmm.
could handle some of the stuffs that you are talking about,
Oh.
right? So you
Yeah.
can, when you start doing the import, or when you are doing the import, you have these many events available, and on these events you can check, you can put some logic actually here and see how your transformation map is performing. If you are trying to insert data, for example, on start, if you want to put some script here, right, and you
Mm.
want to validate the source fields or target fields, you can do some validation here to check if the data transformation,
Oh, that's smart.
right. So
So I have a data validation. Yes, yes,
right,
yes. I
you
got
have the
it.
data validation here in the transformation script. You can use
That's good. Yeah.
right.
Mm.
Apart from
Yeah.
that, what you can also do is, let's update this. So we just updated the transformation map. Let me go back to transformation map. Now that you have mapped the fields, what you can do is you can transform the data, right? So
Mm-hmm.
right now in u underscore services table, we do not have anything, right? It's a blank table. When
Mm.
you do transform, which is a UI action here, when you do
Mm.
transform, the table records from the import set table gets
Mm.
transformed into the ServiceNow table, right? So here is what it is
Oh.
listing out the import set table by default. Now you have
Mm.
chosen the target table here, service offering, using the service offering transformation, you can transform it, right? When you
Mm.
transform it, it says that this import set 1 has been processed, right? So this import
Mm.
set 1, so every import set that you create will be named in terms of import sets 1, 2, 3, some sort of naming convention will be there, right? So
Right.
this import set, the state of which has been processed, was just processed, a couple of seconds before, and it says that 11 records were processed, and you have the status of all these import sets row created here. You also
Mm.
have the import log, right? You can use this import log as well to see what happened with each of those rows,
Oh.
whether it landed into some error or whether it ended up into some sort of information or process, right? It shows
Mm.
right now here that all of the records were done completely, transformed completely, and there was no error, right? Because all of these are
Yeah.
shown as information, so there is no error that we can see in the import log, right? So one
Mm.
is
Mm.
one is that you get the transformation script using which you can do some sort of data validation, etc. The other one is that you
Right.
get the import logs as well. So row by row execution of the import transformation map is getting done here, and you can get information from this transform map log and see what happened with each of those records,
That's true.
right?
That's true.
So that's
Yeah. Yeah.
that's import set log, right? Now let's go back
Mm.
and see this services table was empty that time. Now if I go and do refresh list, it will populate the data here, right?
Mm.
So we can
Mm.
now see that finally we have imported data from the Excel sheet into u.services table, right? We refresh that and we get this table here, right? So we have the data here. Now if you want to get
Mm.
rid of those staging tables, the staging table is still here. You see the services offerings staging table. If you
Mm.
want to clean the data, right, you bring the table here, and you can pick if you want to delete related transformation map, if you want to delete data, if you want to delete these tables as well, right?
Right.
So you can do a cleanup and this table will be gone along with the data, right? If you go back, sorry, if you go back to cleanup, wait, the table is here, table is not deleted. So if you go back here, pick here, I have to uncheck this. It says delete data only. So here we go. Doing this will delete the table as well. Okay, import. Now I go into import set tables and I do not have that table here, right?
Mm.
So this is how. So even if you deleted the staging table, the target table still has data. Target table is still prevalent, right? So the idea of a staging table is use it as a temporary table, bring data into the temporary table, then use transformation map to bring data from the temporary table or the transformation or the import set table into the target table and then get rid of the table, right? You may or may not like to
Mm.
use that table again, so you get rid of that table, right? So that's how you do that. Um,
Mm.
you can do a scheduled cleanup as well, right? You can identify what tables you want to get rid of, what is the frequency that you want to run this schedule, and how do you do that, right? So you have this script written here, and doing this script, you can identify, you want to clean all those tables, all those data in the tables which are older than 7 days, right? So here you have
Yeah.
this method set days ago 7, and then you are doing ic.clean. So import set cleaner.
Mm.
So this is an import set cleaner function, right? So if you do this execute now, it will clean up all those tables that were created 7 days earlier or that has data which is older than 7 days, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah, 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 yeah.
so this way you can utilize these import set features to manage your import set as well and manage the transformation map,
Right.
right? So this is one type of import. We just did
Yeah.
Excel import. It supports
Excellent,
Excel
excellent.
and XLS. Uh, it supports both XLS and
Yeah, yeah,
XLSX, right? And CSV as well.
yeah.
And then the other type of
It's
other type of data that we are talking about is also is the XML data. You can import using the
mm,
XML file as well, right?
mm,
So let's try to do that. Let me see if I have the books XML.
mm,
I don't have that XML, so I can download one from the internet. This is a sample XML file that I'm trying to download.
right.
Here we go. We have this file here.
Yeah.
I can copy it. I just copied the text and I'm going to save it. And I'm going to save it in this folder. So I have this books.xml saved here. So this is
Mm,
simply an XML file, right? So this XML file contains information as author, title, genre, price, published date, description, right? And you have this
Yeah.
for several records, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to insert this list of records into our table, right?
Right.
So for that, we'll go into tables and columns, and we will create a table which will be your books table.
Mm.
You do not want to create module, so you have the books table, and I'm going to expand one of these to create the table columns. So I'm going to create the first one as the author field, the other one will be title.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to submit it. So we have a books table created now, u underscore books, and this will have no records right now because we have not inserted. So u underscore books dot list will present us nothing. Now let's go into load data and try to create one staging table, which is import
Mm.
books, right?
Yeah.
Now you have to choose file. In order to choose file, you have to go here and pick the books.xml.
Mm.
Hang on, we need to do something else. Before that, we have to go into data sources, and here we have to
Mm.
create a data source first. So that was for XML. Load data was for XML, sorry, Excel and CSV. Here we have to create the XML type first. See, you have to define the data
Oh,
source,
yeah. 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 Yeah.
right? So I'm going to name it as, and then you have to define the XPath for each row.
Mm.
And to do that, I'll copy the XPath that I have here. See, the XPath you understand, Michael?
Uh, I, no. No.
Okay, so this is just like a definition of the XML that you have, and you try to find out how do you want to actually access what node you want to access in the XML, stuffs like that. So you have this is a
Okay.
guideline that you actually generate, and then you have to use that guideline into your data source here. So wait a second, I'll choose XPath generator. So XPath is some way to identify and let your data source know what element, how, these are several data records, records available in the Excel sheet here, right? In the XML sheet here.
Oh,
So
okay, I got it. Because in SSIS, maybe the term is a little bit different, but it will determine the schema or the structure of the
right,
XML.
right. So you have to make the system understand.
You have to generate that before loading
Right,
the XML file.
right. See,
Yeah.
this is a XPath generator I am using right now, and
Okay.
I want to tell my data source that within the XML file, look for all of those book nodes, right? So it will get the
Mm,
catalog and book nodes. See, the moment I change the nodes, it will generate a different XPath for me, right? So
mm,
this is
mm,
not the
mm,
repetitive item. I want to look for those items where the tag is reading book, right? So
mm, mm,
I'll read a tag as book here, right? So this XPath I'll copy here in the XPath for each row, and file retrieval method here I'll keep it as attachment. File retrieval method could be anything else as well, right? Right now I am doing attachment and I am going to submit this one. So import sets, eh, import books is a data source that I just created. Now I'll go and import the file here, right? For that, I'll use this attachment. I'll choose
mm,
file. I'll go and upload books. So books is attached here. Now I
mm.
can go ahead and test load 20 records. When I do test load 20 records, it brings data from all those Excel files and 11 records are inserted actually. I can go and see
Mm.
loaded data, right? When I go and see loaded data, I see that the book information has come here. See the author Koretz Eva.
Yeah, yeah.
We have this Koretz Eva here. For the
Mm-hmm.
title, Me Ascent, where is that? Koretz Eva, here is that, Me
Mm,
Ascent. Alright, so
mm,
the data from the XML file has actually come, right? And how has
mm,
this data from the actual file has come? Because you defined what XPath you want to choose, right? And within this XML structure, you defined that look for all those book nodes and consider that book node as the data and insert that into the table, right? As a row, right?
mm,
So it looks
mm.
for the book tag and the subsequent tags that it gets between the book tags. Consider it as the fields and then inserts data into the table, right? You can go
Right.
ahead and personalize the list and author, title, genre. So I'll bring author, title, price, published date. Okay. So you have your information here,
Mm,
author, title, genre, price, published date. And description is also left.
right.
So get the description as well. Save it. Right? So you have the data inserted into
Okay.
this import books table, right? And now you
Mm,
also see to each of these records there are some sets created. So this is saying that it is saying that this data that has been imported is going under the import set 2, right? So this data was
yeah.
inserted using import set 2. Import set 1 was for the service offerings that we just did. Import set 2 is for the import books, right? And it gives you
Yeah.
information. It says the data has been loaded. The state is loaded. The state is not processed. So it means that the data is still into the staging table. It has not moved to the target table yet. So if you go into the books table, which is the ultimate target table for you, if you refresh list, you will not see the data here. Instead, you will find the
Mm,
data in the staging table because that data is still in the staging table, right? When the data has moved to the target table, the state of the import
mm,
set will be processed. It will change to processed, right?
right.
Right now, the state is loaded. It says that the data has been loaded into the import set table, staging table, and it is ready to be transformed into the transformed and sent into the target table. So for that, I'm going to hit this transformation map, and I'm going to make it as transform from books, right? The staging table that we have is you import books, and here I am going to choose the target table as you books, right? Create date will be today.
Yeah.
The rest will remain same. I'm going to
Okay.
submit it. When I submit it, I can go back to the transform maps and I can see my transform books here. We have submitted it. We have not done the mapping here. So I'm going to do mapping assist. When I do mapping assist, I can bring these columns here, right? And then I can go here and I'll pick author, I'll pick description, genre,
Price.
price, publish date, and title. And I'm going to save it. So we have our mapping ready. Since we have our mapping ready, we can now run transformation. But before that, let's verify if you have the data in the table. We do not have the data into the target table. So the target table is still empty. Let's go and transform it. When we transform it, it will show us the status of the transformation. So this is transformation getting done. It says the transformation was success. Now you can go into the iset2, which is the import set, and see the state has changed to processed. You see that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
State has changed to
Very
processed. So
interesting.
from
Yeah,
loaded,
yeah.
it has changed to processed. Now since this
Process.
is
Yeah.
processed, if you go into the target table and refresh it, it will bring out the data here. Oh, it's not showing. Wait a second. Did we choose wrong table or something? Data source books. The mapping was all right.
Mapping is successful. Yeah.
U underscore books.
Yeah.
U underscore books dot list. The instance is also correct. Description, price, genre, title, author, mapping assist, transform. I think we transformed into wrong
Wrong purposes.
transformation. I'll go to import sets. I'll pick this import set 2 and I'll change it to loaded, update it. Then I'll go to transform map and I'll go to transform books, import books. I'll try to do transformation. This is import set. This is right.
Yeah.
I'm going to select and I'm going to transform it. Right, and now I'll go and look into the logs. Here we go.
Oh yeah, yeah,
We have the data now.
yeah.
Right?
Right.
And it comes into the right table and it comes into the right columns that we have created. But it does not have published date. Why? We do not have published date here. We have published date. Did we not
We
map
have
the
published
dates?
it.
Did we not map the dates? It should be also there. Let's look into the transformation history. Oh, it says complete with errors. So there are some
Oh,
errors.
okay. That's why.
Yeah. So let's see what the errors are. It says unable to format date using format. Oh, so this is having date timestamp, and we are doing just the date. So it is the conversion is wrong. So this is where you
Okay.
get the error.
Data conversion.
No, data conversion is wrong. So now what I'll go do is I'll go to
This is a very good example for me. That's exactly
right,
what I asked you for.
right,
Yes.
right. So I'm going to books tables. I'll go and do edit table, and I'll change the data type
And
for
then
it.
daytime. Yeah, daytime.
Where is date? Publish date, and
Yeah,
I'll
publish date
I'll
is,
change it
yeah,
to
exactly.
date
time.
And I'll save it, update it. I'll go back. I know this transformation has transformation with errors, so I'll go back one more time. I'll go to the import sets, and in order to reload the data, because the data is same, so I'm just going to change the state of this import set to loaded, and I'm going to update it. Right? Now
Yeah.
that it has been done, I'm going to transform it. Transform maps. I'm going to run transformation books, and then I'm going to hit transform. Right?
Yeah.
What we can also do is we can go and delete the records from this table, so we have clean transformation done.
Yeah.
So I'm going to select this table, and I'm going to do delete all records. Right? Now we have a
Mm-hmm.
clean table, we have a clean slate. We
Yeah.
can see u underscore books.list, and it should be empty. So no records to display here. Now I'm going to select this transform books, import set to, and do transformation. It's a success. I'm going to
Mm.
refresh list, and here we go.
Yeah. Let
Published
me
date
show.
is still empty.
Yeah.
So
It's
it looks
still
like there
empty.
is some more issue. So I'm going to transform history. It is again saying complete with errors. Alright, so let's find out what the error is. So this is the latest one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's look into. It says unable to format. Okay, so this formatting is YYMMDD HHMMSS format, right? And
Mm.
mine would not be the YYMMDDDD format. So what we have to do is we can put a transformation script here,
Mm-hmm.
and that transformation script will be utilized to change the date formatting style, right?
Mm.
Um, See, the other example that I can put is, wait a second. Um, a very simple example that I'm going to do is
Mm.
I'm right now going to change this date to this format,
Mm.
right? And I'm copying this. I'll try to play with the import set.
Yeah.
Uh, import sets, import set 2. I'll make it loaded, and I'll go to, I'll update it first, and then I'll go to, see, the moment I change it to loaded, the state becomes pending, right? It goes into pending state.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So I'll go to target record. Let me see. Uh, and I'll change the publish date to this, and I'll update it.
Mm-hmm.
So I played with one record just to make sure that we have correct data format here,
Right.
in which that our system is expecting. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'll go to transform maps, transform books. Let's transform. And you may like to clean the table before you are transforming. So I'm going to do delete data from the table. Once deleted, I can go into the table. It's an empty one. Now you can do transformation. So my guess is one of the records will contain the date here. It should
Mm.
contain date. Oh, it is still not containing the date.
Yeah, it's still showing empty.
Import log.
That's weird.
So the error is the transformation date format, so we can do this. Let's go into the transform maps, transformation, run a script, and I'll have to use the date formatter. So within the script, you can use
Yeah.
some methods from the glide system class or something, or glide date,
Mm-hmm.
date for,
Okay.
and you can define the date format.
Mm.
So two things. I'm going to pick a transformation script sample from here,
Mm.
transformation map script. So this I'll use as a sample script. We'll modify it, something like this. I'm going to copy this one. I'm going to put it here within the transformation script, right?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
from the transformation script, I know that what is the date name. Uh, in the import sets,
Mm.
I need to go into the transformation maps, and within transformation map, I have to look for the source fields, and the name of the field is
Yeah.
uPubliched. So
Mm.
I need to go into source.upublished.to string, and then so let's do a simple thing here.
Mm.
I'm going to put target dot, the name of the field here is uPubliched, target dot uPubliched equals, I'm going to get a date from here, something like this,
Mm.
and I'm going to put this here, right? And I'm going to update it. Let's see if it does something for us. So I have a very simple script.
Mm.
Transform port sets. Let's do transformation. Transforming.
Mm.
u underscore books dot log dot list. See, this time what I did is,
Yeah. Some, yeah.
using the script,
Some of them.
I customize the date here, right? Some of the
Uh,
so I now have 22 records because I run the transformation twice. Let's
yeah.
let's do this one more time. I'm going to clean this table
Yeah.
and I'm going to scroll down and delete all records. The table is deleted.
Yeah.
Now go to,
Okay. It's
right,
nothing in there.
it's nothing there. I'll go to, I set 102, changes to loaded, update it, and then going to transform maps, pick the
Mm.
transform map, right? Remember, this line is doing nothing, so I can get rid of this line. So I only have,
Okay.
right? So from the target table, I am picking the
Mm.
target field, which is the published date, and into this
Mm.
published date, I am just putting some date here, right?
Mm.
Submit, and then now I am going to do transformation. When I do transform, it is transforming the data. After we select this table and I do transform, this is transforming data, and I refresh it. When I refresh it, it will get the data here,
Everything comes right.
right?
Wow.
So this is coming from the script that we just put,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
That is. Yeah.
right. So you have to put some
This is
scripts.
very
So,
interesting.
yeah, some sort of a script you have to put to do
Public
some
dot is the public
customization or
date.
data transformation,
Oh, let me
right?
see the script. You said target to publish date. That is just
Just a one line,
okay.
right?
Yeah, one line.
Now, what
Huh.
you can also do is, here we have to check the date format in our this case, right? So what you can also do is you can get source dot u publish date into some variable as we were doing.
Hmm.
Now, what you can do is you can apply the date formatter here. Um,
Hmm.
Let me see if we have a date function that will do that for us. Um, where is that formatter? We'll have to use some date functions.
Hmm.
Um, which one of these is set value? Beginning of last month? No, not this one. Hmm. I'll find that out. So all you need to do is you will do gs dot.
Hmm.
So I don't know what date is that. So let's name it, for example, dummy function is some date function, right?
Yeah.
And then you will put this publish date within here, right?
Hmm.
Right, because this some date function will try to find out the formatting that you are expecting into the target table, and then
Yeah.
pick the source date and then convert into the format that your target table is expecting, and then it will transform the data and put that value in there. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, some
It
sort of
really makes sense.
transformation here, so you can do it
Yeah.
using the script.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Right, so this is more of this is what we have to talk about, import sets and
Yeah.
transformation map, but we have
Yeah.
only covered two types of data. We have covered Excel and uh,
XML.
XML, right?
Yeah.
So we'll be doing some other transformation and other import sets tomorrow. For example, if you
Definitely.
want to
Okay.
import data from some
Facebook.
third-party MySQL
Okay.
database
Yeah.
or third-party MySQL
Hmm.
server database, SQL Server
Hmm.
database or Oracle database. So if you have to
Yeah.
import data from those databases, how do you do that? So we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Okay, great, great, great. This one is really very, very interesting.